everybody, and welcome to yet another foray into Moohead Radio. It's a Monday, and I told you we'd be here, and damn it, we will. Welcome to Moohead Radio, and I'm putting the link up right now for our Ed Sullivan. Now, you know, right here, right now, I'm putting up the link to the show. Let's really, really hear it. Okay, the link is up. I'm getting better at this, and join us in the
Pay
YouTube
attention to these
chat
boys.
room.
They'll be really big someday.
Really big, really big. Here they are, the fat boys. They're really big.
They stepped on Topo Gigio.
Oh God, Italian mouse. That was the lame. Eddie, I want you to blow me, Eddie. And just, fucking pervert mouse in a nightcap. You know? Have another nightcap, Eddie. You won't feel anything. All right. How is everybody? We got Tony the Calf, who's got some interesting news, although it's not substantiated. Tell us, Tony, what's going on?
I haven't been tested because, of course, you know, they're not testing the people who just think they have it to have it, you know what I mean, kind of thing, and they don't have the resources. But according to my urgent care doctor, I have the coronavirus. At least that's what they believe. I have the coronavirus.
Tony the Calf ain't working.
Nope, 2 weeks. Hey, I'm getting paid to not work, so I'm not going to fucking...
Getting paid not to work. He's got a fever. Fever. I don't know what that had to do with anything.
It's more like
all through the night.
Very good.
That's more like money for nothing and your chicks for free.
You could use a fiver.
Oh my. I want to start out the program like I always love to do with stupidity, because there's so much of it, it never runs out. Here, now, this is an incredible story. You know that in Tennessee, there's Dollywood. In India, there's Bollywood. And in Nigeria, there's Nollywood. You know, that's in Nigeria, that's what they call show business. All right. There's an actress, all right, and her name is Funke Akindele Bello, and she's been arrested.
Yeah, that's 3 times.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I've got all.
Is there a pill for that?
She's been arrested after
Like the disease I have.
after hosting a birthday party for her husband during a lockdown in her country, despite fronting a stay-home campaign in Nigeria. Nollywood comedy star faced backlash after her husband posted a video of this party on his Instagram live feed on Saturday. Needless to say, the news about the party caused outrage amongst Nigerians. Now, Funke Akindele Bello is arrested, detested, and double D-breasted. Okay, we'll kind of leave it at that. Wow.
Done funked it up, huh?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's just great. Being the face of the stay home campaign and then have that happen to you. But there's more. But wait.
There's more?
Ginsu knives. But wait, there's more. 2 children were hospitalized after eating THC-infused candy that was accidentally distributed to their families by a Utah food bank. It's like, oh my God. Last week, the Utah Food Bank handed out 63 bags of food to 63 families at a distribution point set up at the Roy Baptist Church. Goddamn Baptists. You know, I'll tell you, the Mormons are going to make hay out of this. The bags contain Nerds rope candy infused with a high dosage of THC.
What did you run out of Tide Pods? What the...
You know what the worst part about it is? The more there is in the candy, the more of the candy you eat.
Didn't I already see the show with the hash brownies on Barney Miller?
Oh, yeah. Police said that they believe each bag of food contained 3 to 4 packages of candy and that each family received 1 bag. Law enforcement and the Utah Food Bank are reaching out to families who may have received the candy, but they do not yet know where it came from. We're absolutely horrified that this product went out to any of our partner agencies and could easily see how volunteers would not have known what to look for. Then she went on to say, and we were desperately in our headquarters searching for bags of Doritos to no avail.
And this from the people who abhor caffeine.
I mean, the stupidity continues. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro on Monday said he was qualified to engage and disagree with Dr. Anthony Fauci on the use of an anti-malarial drug as a coronavirus treatment, which is not yet proven as effective, saying, "The reason I can disagree with the doctor is because I'm a social scientist." Doctors disagree about all things all the time. My qualifications in terms of looking at the science is that I'm a social scientist. Let's listen to Peter Navarro, the White House trade advisor, about medical issues. Thank you. I mean, it's like, can we just shut these people up and just get to the bottom line? China, meanwhile, which is, of course, Brian's favorite country, has
Only for the women.
That's right. Be specific.
I hear the catering in China is pretty.
Yeah.
We get it to you hot. Yeah.
I walk your dog for you. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Hey, dog, tomorrow lunch.
Get the, no,
I
brunch,
lost Kibble.
brunch.
Where'd he go?
Crispy dog.
They
They lifted their lockdown in China, and large numbers of people, which are the only numbers there are in China, flocked to popular tourist sites in major cities across China over the country's holiday weekend.
holiday? Front row.
Hurry, scat.
I know.
They flock or they frock.
Look, look. There are some things that aren't funny, and that's hate crimes being committed against people of Asian descent, because to a lot of idiots in America, they all look alike. But the fact of the matter is, there are many Asian cultures, and none of them deserve to be attacked.
I tell you, those crimes are very horrible.
I know. I mean, and to be gunned down right in the middle of the street. My God, that's just awful. You know. But the thing is that
And to
the
think, all I
pandemic,
wanted was a little fried rice.
well, the pandemic isn't really over now, is it? But, you know, people want to get back out so early. And I really keep warning everybody about this. And it's not because I'm going CNN on your ass, which is really funny. I mean, go back and forth. Do what I do and go back and forth from CNN to Fox. And it's like, CNN is like, it's the end of the world and we know it. Yeah. I mean, it's like, we're all dying. Bodies are being literally piled into trucks in New York City. And we're angry at President Trump about the hydrochloroquine. Then you switch over to Fox and it's like, what a beautiful day it is with the coronavirus. This is Fox News. I mean, I'm sitting here watching this going, wow. I mean, this is like a complete role reversal. Usually the Fox News network is angry, but they're happy right now. It's weird. And CNN is just like the Black Knight, you know, it's only a flesh wound. I mean, they are dark. I can't watch CNN. I can't do it. I mean, it's like you want to slash your wrists. 5 minutes in, it's horrible. And there's more.
There's more?
Yeah,
There's always more.
Yep. And in order to do this properly, we have to switch over to our roving correspondent, Bill Masterson.
He has been. There has been a Bill Masterson
He hasn't
sighting.
died. Yes,
Okay.
he's not dead.
I'm not at all well.
Yeah, the Bill Masterson report from New York. I'm
Relatively live, coming to you from New York.
Yeah, we're going into gallery view.
Don't forget
I
the
think we're. Are we in gallery view, or are we in? Yeah, sometimes this thing works, sometimes it doesn't work.
I don't know. I have a frozen Rick on my screen.
Oh, really?
I have
Yeah.
you in
Frozen Moo
gallery.
Head on my screen.
You did say Rick, didn't you? And
I have a frozen moo head on my screen.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, that's
I see
not
I see
good.
pictures of all of you, and you're all moving.
Jump in my getaway.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if
Stop him before he
Amsterdam.
scurries away.
are we actually still on
Amsterdam.
the air? It says we're
Yeah.
live on YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
at least
the
mine is
chat's
moving
rolling
now.
along.
Yeah.
You had-
We're
now
still
you had
we're
just,
back.
You just momentarily froze, and now you're back up.
Wow. I mean, this is
Pay your internet bill, Mark. Jesus Christ.
I'm sitting here trying to get this thing to do something, and it doesn't want to do it because everything is lagging as far as my controls are concerned. And you know what I don't understand? I mean, why isn't this working for me? I don't get it.
Members of studio and audience, guess which one of us is real?
Is it live or is it Memorex?
All right.
You make the
Roving
call.
reporter Bill Masterson reporting from New York City. And I'm sorry I have to be on the air, really on camera doing this, but I can't really can I shut my camera off actually?
You should be able to.
It'd be better if you did.
Hey, Fever Boy,
What
cut
a-
it out. You. Why I oughta.
Wow, sounds like his fever broke. He's getting better.
Now stop video. What will happen? I stopped my video. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, now you
Oh,
have no
great.
picture.
Great.
You switched
Okay.
over to one side. Now Rox is on the left side of my screen.
Good.
He's
Hello,
got jumped like a
everybody.
check. Got jumped
It's
like
me.
a checker.
Oh, shut up. It's me, Bill Masterson from Canal Fulton, Ohio. And it's so good to be back on Moohead Radio. Thank you very much, Mr. Cow, for the free tickets to New York City. I can't begin to tell you how exciting a trip it was. I don't know what the big deal about masks and gloves are. I don't understand. But I got into New York City just yesterday, and this place is not at all what it's really revved up to be. I was expecting Times Square and Broadway, and they say the neon lights are bright, but I don't know what's going on here. And here's a story that I woke up to. New York councilman tweets about the potential contingency plan of using a New York City park for burials. Talking about stupid ideas, it reminded me of my cousin, Wyatt. Wyatt was a very stupid man. In fact, they tried to test his intelligence on several occasions, and it just didn't come out. He was foolish and he was stupid. One thing I can tell you about him was the biggest moment of his life was the time he came to New York City. An amazing spectacle it was, Wyatt getting off the plane. And when he got back to Canal Fulton, we asked him, Wyatt, why are you back so soon? And he told us that when he got off the plane, all he ever wanted to do was go to see what people kept referring to as the Mecca of New York City. Well, I didn't know what he was talking about until he told me that he wanted to see the Madison Square Garden. But when he got there, there were no flowers planted. And the man felt so depressed, he hopped a plane back to Canal Fulton. My poor cousin Wyatt, the stupidest man on earth. Well, Mr. Moohead, there's really nothing left to report out here. There's nothing happening at all. I find my... I think I gotta go. Bye. Bill Masterson checking out New York City for us. God only knows.
Sports.
Can you imagine a councilman saying, hey, we got to park? If we're tired of piling them into refrigerated trucks, I got to park. Can you imagine people in that neighborhood, want to go for a walk? Yeah. It'd be like Plan 9 from outer space. It's like fucking ghouls, in the graveyard. It'd be like,
they wouldn't be they wouldn't be indistinguishable from the regular homeless people that are in the parks.
I'll tell you one thing though, if you wanted to walk through the park, you'd have to wear a mask. I mean, with all the sheer volume of coronavirus, what kind of an idea is that? Who comes up with this shit? And of course, then for the next like 3 hours, people in New York, other councilmen were saying, we know nothing of this plan. It's like the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, said, I haven't heard anything about that. I've heard lots of wild rumors. I haven't heard anything about the city burying people in parks except this guy, Bill Masterson. I heard him talking something about the gardens, the Madison Square Gardens that weren't planted. I don't know. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But at any rate, we can talk sports, and it's been the Black Cow of Death Day on Moohead Radio. We go to our resident death expert, and that would be Rick. Rick, why don't you tell us?
They're dropping like flies, let me tell you. Oh my gosh, where do you start? Well, let's start with the obscure. This was about, I guess a little over a week ago. Orlando McDaniel, he played with the Broncos for a few games back in 1982. He died at the age of 59, the virus. Tom Dempsey, the club-footed kicker for the New Orleans Saints, who kicked that 63-yard field goal and beat the Lions.
I hear he's going to be buried 63 yards under. Go ahead.
Yes. He was 73. He died of the virus, but he has been suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia since like 2012.
There was a joke about that, though. The time that he hired a hooker. Actually, he hired 2 hookers. Yeah, and then when they came in, he said, why don't you meet at the club? Okay, we'll it's a Tom Dempsey joke. If you don't know Tom Dempsey, you won't laugh. You'll look it up, and then you go, "Oh my God, is that what he meant?" Okay, go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He only meant to lend a helping hand. So, Bobby Mitchell. Passed away at 84. He was the first black Washington Redskin, and he used to play with the Cleveland Browns for a little while as well. The father of Bobby Abert Jr., who was quarterback with the New Orleans Saints back in the 80s, his father passed away at 81 from the coronavirus. And then just recently, as in today, Al Kaline, Detroit Tigers, number 6, passed away at age 85. They said that no cause was given. They said he had recently suffered a stroke. And entertainment-wise, Honor Blackman passed away at age 94.
Pussy Galore. Pussy Galore is dead. Can you believe that?
Darn.
Yeah.
That is horrible. And Al Kaline was the only Major League Baseball player whose name looked like a battery. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're positive of that?
Yeah, I'm positive. Yeah.
He's positive for Corona.
Tony's positive. Tony.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
I've been waiting to get back at you, you fat fuck friend of mine. All right.
Oh, and then as far as the newspaper goes, Cleveland Plain Dealer let go 22, as they call it, journalists from their staff.
Where did they find them?
Mary Kay had them locked up in their closet. So obviously the fact that they let journalists go means that Mary Cabot's job is still secure.
My dog just farted behind me. This is just terrible.
Yeah, he's probably
And
pissed
the
off at
dog
Mary Kay
fart
too.
is still smarter than fucking Mary Kay cabbage for brains. Isn't that fucking amazing?
I know. The dog's
good
fart
job,
is more
Topaz.
intelligent. Yeah. Thank you. Now, Tristan Wirfs, he had an incredible combine back in February, and there is no way the Browns are going to get this guy. I mean, can you imagine a 40-yard dash in 4.85 for a guy his size, a 3-cone drill in 7.65 seconds, and a 36.5-inch vertical jump? I mean, what an incredible fit he would be. Well, I guess for any offensive line, but for the, the zone blocking scheme the Browns are going to use, really good. Any way in God's creation that, I mean, the Browns would have to trade, don't you think? We'll start with Rick. Do you think that we would have to just trade up to get him?
There are some other offensive tackles. I know if you were planning on getting him, you may have to trade up, but I don't know whether that'd be the wisest thing. Do you really want to trade up to get an offensive tackle? Knowing if you don't get Wirfs, there's probably still going to be one or two other good ones that probably will grade high that you could probably still get at the number 10 spot. I guess the trick is if you do trade up, how much are we going to have to give up in order to get to that spot? Because it seems like ahead of us, there's going to be they're battling around, bounce each other off, trying to find themselves the quarterback of their dreams up there between Tua and Justin Herbert and Burrow and everybody else.
Well, everyone believes that the Giants are going to take Wirfs just because of Daniel Jones and the
protect him.
Yeah, because he needs. Well, actually, the whole organization needs to be protected from Daniel Jones. But yeah, that's where he's expected to go.
Jake from State Farm finally got his khakis out of the hamper and wants the link for coming on the show.
Oh no, you're kidding me! He's doing that again.
Can somebody send me the link? I finally have my internet reset.
All right, let me do this. I mean, holy cannoli! Isn't it in the show? Maybe it's not in the show description. Yeah, it is, isn't it? No.
No.
Oh well.
That's
all right. Let's see.
No,
here.
the description is blank. And somehow we made it into the category of entertainment.
yeah.
Those silly bastards don't know what's going to hit them.
Well, sure, it's fucking sports right now, folks. Yeah, let me.
Speaking of sports,
this is entertaining.
All right, let me put in the damn link.
Bill Clinton used to say, "Define entertainment."
There we go. Hey, Big Lurker UK, how you doing? If you want to jump on the show, Big Lurker, you can. That's the that'll give you right then and there. That's your shortcut.
That's
right into
our goal is to outnumber the chat room. Maybe we already have. I don't know.
Yeah. So where were we? So yeah, the whole thing about Wirfs, we got offensive tackles probably going to the Cardinals at number 8 too. They're thinking of taking the Alabama guy perhaps. And the thing is, I mean, the teams that need offensive linemen are teams that really have either quarterback problems or unproven quarterbacks. That would be the Browns right now. It's kind of, I don't think that Baker's going to have that much of a problem, but I can't imagine. Brian, would you trade up for Wirfs?
No, because you're still going to have one of the other three possibly available.
Well, we know Cincinnati's going with Burrow, right? And everyone's pretty sure that the Redskins are going to take Chase Young out of Ohio State, right?
Well, they should.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they will, but they should.
Still, Dan Snyder, was he sort of fond of Dwayne Haskins anyway?
Yeah.
Is that his guy?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd want to do anything to undermine his confidence or his belief in him, I would think. So they would probably go with Young.
the Lions may be the cornerback Okuda from Ohio State, but that one isn't, for sure. But I know that they're
could
looking.
That could be also another quarterback off the board too.
Yeah, if they're not sure about Stafford's back.
Miami wants Alabama's guy, Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, how do you pronounce the last name?
Triskaidekaphobia.
Yeah, Tua bag of ravioli.
Yeah, they want a bag of ravioli. That's right.
Yeah.
I just call him the fear of number 13, Triskaidekaphobia.
That's how he got hurt all that time. Wore the wrong damn number.
Yeah, I don't know.
70, he'd been better off. Look what happened to Burrow.
The Chargers want a quarterback, and that's probably, Justin Herbert. And, then the Panthers are going to take Isaiah Simmons, who is the best linebacker in the draft. That's what that looks like.
Well, I would say defensive player.
Yeah. I mean, he's
he said at the podium, what do you play?
Defense.
The Cardinals, maybe an offensive tackle, like we were talking. Jedrick Wills, maybe. And one of the Alabama guys. That's possible. And then, by the time the Browns get there, if they want the next offensive lineman, Andrew Thomas from Georgia? That would be
Thomas or Becton.
Yeah. Those are the
either
two
one
names.
would be fine. I mean, that's what I mean. You'll have at one of those 4 top guys available at number 10. So it doesn't really necessarily matter.
Well, the thing that's interesting about speculating with young, unproven talent, Stefanski was supposed to welcome the Browns to team headquarters today for the beginning of the offseason program, which was 2 weeks before teams without a new head coach. But because of the pandemic, bang, that's gone. So all of the teams who have first-year head coaches, new head coaches, I should say, for their teams, who are really needing the preparation time, are going to lose any theoretical advantage they would have had because of the pandemic. They're saying delayed for at least a week. It's going to be more than that. Most of the country is behind New York City. New York City, depending on who you listen to, and I know that Andrew Cuomo is very hopeful that this plateau.
Please listen to me.
Yeah. No, I mean,
he's hopeful for an audience.
Well, no, he's hopeful that this thing is leveling out. And I don't know, 2 days does not a plateau make, especially when you're dealing with the kinds of population that they're dealing with there. But I just can't imagine with New York in the state that it's in and being such a media capital, they really can't afford, the league can't afford to fuck up. I'll say this, here in Florida, I got a call from my dental office, and that we had put off, this implant thing that is still empty in the bottom of my mouth. And they had rescheduled me for the middle of April. And they said, no, now we're going the middle of May. And I said, I'm more than happy. Keep me signed up so I kind of keep my place in line. But it ain't going to be in May either. And she laughed and goes, I don't think so either. I mean, I don't think anybody, if we're in the middle of a flattened curve and, that means they don't know how long the plateau is. All right. Think of it this way. And that, before it starts going down, how long does the plateau last and how steep is the drop off or how shallow is it? And you can't afford, if it's a slow winding down, just to bring teams into a practice facility. That would be crazy.
Yeah, they're doing the draft is going to be, virtual.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, but I mean, the bottom line is when you're as bad as the Browns have been, or the Giants have been, or the Cardinals have been, or any of the teams that are just theoretically inept, you earn this. this notoriety earns you the position of constantly hiring new coaches, constantly trying to play catch up, constantly playing musical chairs with quarterbacks. It's, you know, you can't really complain about the whole thing. It's just the way it goes.
Wonder how they're going to manage that, because I don't know if you caught this weekend, Trump had a sit down with, you know, like Silver and Goodell and Gary Bettman and fucking Vince McMahon and Dana White, and they're projecting April when this is going to be where they're going to let, you know, mass gatherings.
Well, and the PGA already released a partial schedule.
Yeah, the Masters is November 11th.
November 11th. That's right.
Masters Sunday with a complete NFL schedule. It's gonna be a fun
Veterans Day. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the British Open whacked, and you know, and for all we
Wimbledon
know,
gone.
Boris Johnson might get whacked. I mean, that is, if you haven't heard, the Prime Minister of England has gone into intensive care with a coronavirus that is not going away for him. And they just decided the other day, well, we're going to be safe and bring him to the hospital. And the next thing you know, he's in ICU. So that's scary. That's scary. Over in England, they've been hit really, really hard. We haven't heard from Bronk, and I hope everything's okay with him. But I know that the...
Well, I heard he's been released since he defunded the hospital and closed it down. But that's British politics joke. Anyways.
Oh, thank you very much.
Told you I'd get out.
But I mean, it's, you know, and I heard that the president of the United States said that football was going to go on as normally at the end of August, and that stadiums would be filled to capacity in August.
Well, people are dumb enough to do it too. You know that,
People,
right?
well, we're seeing it in China. You know, I mean, this is not an American, uniquely American trait. I mean,
the Korean Baseball League is starting up next at the end of the month here.
I mean, people going out and visiting the Great War of China. You know,
Yeah. Oh, that's a big war. It's a big frickin' war.
That's one of my favorite stories. Flint, Michigan. You know, there is a, you know, I think in every town there's like Chinese restaurants. Oh, I'm going to get Jake here. I'm sorry, Jake.
Would Jake pass away?
Long quarter in that green room, apparently.
He died
Jake.
He died waiting for the show to pick him up.
Gosh, Jake, I apologize.
This is scary.
Did you get his hand or anything?
I was about to. My internet, you were close though, Tony. My internet did pass away for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, turn your volume down a little bit, Jake.
I'm now deaf.
No, that's not Jesus. That's Jake. But yeah, close. Yeah, close. What are you laughing at, Rox? You're not supposed to be laughing at that. Come now.
The booming voice of God coming through.
I liked it better when I sounded like this. I've never been able to recreate that. Great, man. What a great moment that was. So where was I? I feel terrible that I left. Oh, but yeah, there was a restaurant in Flint, because there's about 85 Chinese restaurants in every town. And this one was called the Great Wall of China. That was the name of the.
How interesting! How original!
How original!
Oh,
and
I thought of that for hours.
hours.
Took us an hour to come up with this title.
You want me to advertise on Ladio? No. So I go into this place and I eat there, and it really wasn't very good.
I can't imagine bat soup being.
No, I mean, it wasn't very good, and so. I'm leaving the restaurant, and the woman says to me, "How do you like your food?" And I said, "You should change your name to the Mediocre Wall of China." Well, I don't really think that she got. Oh, thank you very much. You'll choke on that fortune cookie, Jew boy.
I asked for tabby. You give me Siamese. What the hell?
Put it on the tabby.
Yeah. Next time, cut the damn tail off.
Siam, I am. So at any rate, I digress. That was that, I guess. But I don't think stadiums should be filled in August, to be very honest with you. Well, I wouldn't be in there, let's put it that way. So I don't know. Everybody's got a different opinion on all of that. Antonio Brown is hiring a veteran agent as he attempts his NFL return. I mean, do you really think that anybody is going to jump on the Antonio Brown bandwagon? Rumors are flying that perhaps the Ravens will do it. Let's go to our illustrious panel and start with the ever-patient Jake. Would you invest in Antonio Brown? Okay.
Wait a minute. It was his
I think he's
microphone keeps
on mute.
going from mute to unmute. Now he's muted again.
Jeez.
Really? Well, I can't even see him on the damn screen. Where is he?
Probably in the top
On my
row.
screen, he's in the lower left-hand corner.
Oh, there he is.
Is my audio any better now?
Yeah.
There he is.
Good. Yeah. So what would you do with Antonio Brown? Would you take not if you're the Browns, if you were anyone, would you take a shot at him?
I don't know how it's possible to take a chance with him right now. If he's not happy getting the money he was, and then not happy on a good team, I don't know how you can expect him to be functional anymore in a football team that needs to have some camaraderie.
You know what's really cool? As week after week of the pandemic goes on, Jake's hair just keeps more. How do you like it? How do you like it? Yeah, it's looking good. You have a rugged look about you. I like that. Me like you. Yeah. And my hair is going to get long too. By the time this pandemic is over, I might have a ponytail. That's a scary thing, but my hair does grow fast on my head too. And I don't know what to do if I got to braid it around my dick. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Like, am I going to have dick dreadlocks? I don't know.
But yeah, I don't see any way AB can get a chance.
Rox, to your thoughts.
Threw it away to the wrong.
I'd go with cornrows.
Sounds like
Tony,
the name of a Jamaican singer, Dick Dreadlocks. What that?
Yeah, man.
Now for a Bob Marley retrospective.
Tony the Calf, would you want Antonio Brown on the Vikings?
Hell no.
All right. Brian, I was going to say, I'm not going to ask you if you would take a shot.
Yeah, he would.
I'd rather have the corona. Well, wait.
Wait, I know. Don't be.
Let me rethink that.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Antonio Brown on your team or Rock sing?
I would rather have Roxanne sing me to sleep. Or sing me love tales or anything.
Titanium
Okay,
on a loop.
Rox, sing something, nice and soothing for Tony because he's.
Hold on to your chair, Tony.
Dreams go on when I close my eyes. Every moment I'm awake.
Maybe it is just Titanium because she's actually pretty good there. I think it's just
Titanium is her
awful.
worst song. Titanium's her worst song. Actually, Rox has a really nice voice.
She does.
Yeah, I mean, and she can make anything sound good.
Well, the mic could be a problem in such a more powerful song to have.
Yeah, well, see, there's so much bounce when you're dealing with but I'll tell you, the other day, she was singing the Green Acres theme, and she made that sound good. Yeah, anybody who can make that sound good. I mean, it's just Titanium. It's just
now, does she do spoken word? Because I'd pay a lot of money to hear her speak for Mein Kampf.
Oh, God.
More cowbell.
Just wrong. Just wrong.
He's got a fever because he's hot. on, he's on fire. Yeah.
Fire.
I
Okay,
said
okay,
fire.
yeah.
Now channel Buster Poindexter.
Buster
To the
Poindexter.
fire.
Let's see
Hey,
how
that's
good
better
you are,
than
Rick.
Tom Waits.
What was Buster Poindexter? What was his real name?
David Johansen used to be in the New York Dolls.
Boy, he's good. He's good, folks.
They're good or
It's
old.
true.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah. No, well, Buster Poindexter, I think, was a one album phenomenon. Thank
That's
God.
about it. Yeah.
And COD. Yeah. So, Rox, would you take a shot at Antonio Bryant? Forget it. Forget it.
No, in her case, that would be, would you take a shot from Antonio Bryant?
Oh, come on. That's not nice. Well, go ahead and answer the question.
Wait, I have to
Remind me
Google
you're
and
still
check.
under ooth.
He's Googling his picture.
Yeah,
The man is
I have to check
functionally
him out
insane.
first. Well, the insanity would be a deal breaker.
Close.
His or
Damn it.
yours? His or yours?
Oh my God.
I take a shot at Antonio Brown. Well, how good of a scope do I have?
So Rick, I take it nobody in in our entire panel here is, not that it's so vast.
Whatever team
but,
he's on, he always winds up throwing either fellow players or his coaches under the bus. I wouldn't take him if he would help the space program, for crying out loud.
yeah.
He's
Definitely out there.
Yeah, he's on his own orbit. That's for darn sure. Makes Terrell Owens look almost sane. Almost.
You know, the other thing is the all-decade team of the 2010s. I mean, listen to some of these names. I mean, it is kind of interesting because when we get locked into watching the Cleveland Browns every week and we don't have any good players, but there really were a lot of, good players. You got, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, your quarterbacks, and Antonio Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, of course, one of Brian's favorite guys, Calvin Johnson, the quintessential Lion, and Julio Jones, Gronkowski and Travis Kelce. Look, I mean, these people are, and look at the tackles. Jason Peters, Tyron Smith, Joe Staley, and Joe Thomas, our own.
Interestingly enough, they did manage to leave off DeAndre Hopkins, who had better numbers than a lot of those guys too.
That, and this is just a very, Jerry Evans and Logan Mankins and Zach Martin and Marshall Yanda. These guys, and the centers, Alex Mack, yay, we got one. And Marquise Pouncey, and quite honestly, Alex Mack didn't, kick anybody in the head. So that's why he's listed first. And Frank Gore, is a running back. Pretty damn good. Marshawn Lynch, pretty damn good. LaShawn McCoy and Adrian Peterson when he's not beating his child,
Yeah.
So, Calais Campbell, who's, actually, free agency guy, I believe. Cameron Jordan, Julius Peppers, and J.J. Watt. These names, big time names.
Peppers surprises me. I feel like Peppers was in his prime, like late 2009, 2010, right?
Yeah. It's hard to place all of these players, Geno Atkins and Fletcher Cox and Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. And, Ndamukong Suh is still actually technically playing the game. Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner and Patrick Willis, and then the outside guys, Chandler Jones and Khalil Mack and Von Miller, Patrick Peterson and Darrell Rivas, the Human Island, and Richard Sherman. It is Eric Berry who overcame cancer, and he gets this honor, and that's a wonderful thing. Earl Thomas and Eric Weddle, and the defensive backs, Chris Harris and the honey bear,
Badger.
Honey Badger. What did I say?
Really?
Honey
No
Bear.
Cam Chancellor?
Yeah, honey
Winnie the
badger.
Pooh.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
Tigger.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you miss
Eeyore.
Chancellor?
Yeah.
Right? Cam Chancellor was a star for like until he got hurt like 2018.
Yeah, I think half the Legion of Boom, I think, made the team.
Yeah, it's
And Joe Hayden wanted a spot.
yeah, Joe Hayden wanted a lot of things, I suppose. I mean, that's you
He
know,
had like one rookie year, and that was about it.
yeah. But isn't that true of a lot of defensive backs? I mean, it's really guys who have individual good seasons. Sometimes it happens with linebackers too. The guys you remember, you know, are the guys like Junior Seau, the late Junior Seau, guys who were just really, really dominant year after year. And it's just not easy in the league with physical problems. I think there are a lot of guys who would have been really superior players had
Eddie
they
Bruschi suffered 2 strokes as a
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
right. Had they just stayed healthy. It's just a dangerous game, and careers keep getting shorter. And it's harder and harder to make a living because when you turn an age, it used to be, you know, running backs in 30. Now we're seeing people balking at 28 and 29-year-old players for fear of, you know, and, you know, now the question bouncing around Cleveland, should you go after, you know, Jadeveon Clowney? And, you know, it's
History of meniscus and I think he had an ACL issue coming out of his rookie year. I don't really want to take a chance on that.
I mean, realistically, who would you rather, if you had to choose between Jadeveon Clowney and Olivier Vernon, who would you choose?
Oh, I would probably
Clowney.
take Clowney, but the salary was not going to be good to the Browns. I mean, they're out of the money for Vernon. They could really pay him cheap. His contract's pretty much over for him.
You know,
They're going to pay
and
Clowney an extra $8 million for the same role. I don't think that's worth it.
you know what kind of bothers me about guys like Olivier Vernon? They came to Cleveland. They had no idea that they were going to play for a total knucklehead. And you know, what I saw as the season progressed for the Browns was they were not at all ready to start the season. And they kind of halfway righted their ship to get it 2-2. And then things went downhill. But when things went downhill, the veteran players really stopped putting out and stopped playing hard. And, you know, and I know Olivier Vernon has had a lot of injury problems, but you wonder, they always say that if you're playing at half speed, that's almost a sure way of getting injured. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's, you know, the fear is that when you're thinking too much, or you're just saying it's a payday, I'm just trying to get through this without a hassle. We saw a lot of veteran players on the Browns literally either go rogue and just decide to do their own thing, jump off sides or whatever. You're thinking that Olivier Vernon would go cheap. Is that what you're saying, Jake?
Yeah. Well, the Browns paid him his money. He's out of guarantees mostly. So if you want to keep him, you can, and he won't really hurt the cap. And if you want to get rid of him and replace him, you could cut him for nothing.
Yeah, you know, I'm just concerned. I'm concerned that there are players we didn't see anywhere near what they were prior to arriving in Cleveland because of that idiot Kitchens. And I really believe that the veteran players, you know, it's very similar to what happens when veteran players end up with unqualified coaches in the NBA. We see this all the time. We see, you know, and it happened again with John Beilein. I mean, you would think, well, you know, it's going to be Colin Sexton who has a problem, you know, but no, it was Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love who had the biggest problems with John Beilein. And that is because if you don't know how the thing works and you don't have the confidence from your veteran players, the young guys are going to follow the veterans. It's just that simple. Then everything else becomes, you know, twice, 3 times as hard. And I just wonder if this was part of the problem. I suppose we're going to find out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember JJ Redick when he was on a podcast talking about his college career and like how he thought Coach K, he was asked by a fan. He was like how Coach K would transfer with his knowledge of basketball and like more structured sets. He said that Coach K could have a chance because Coach K teaches bad habits and it's not what you want to learn. Coming from JJ Redick. So he said the game in college is just so different and you can't compare it. And it's so low quality, you cannot even imagine a college coach getting hired to the NBA.
I'm just looking right now in Florida at the coronavirus cases that just keep climbing. It is, it's scary. They have a dashboard up here, and it's not good news. 145 cases in the county that I live, but the thing that's scary is there are 20 cases in our zip code, and you don't want to hear that shit. So yeah, this is all over becoming more and more and more of a problem. So I constantly check in on this kind of thing. So,
my job, I'm in charge of mapping all of Ohio, PA, and West Virginia cases the second they happen. So,
before we get out of here, I wanted to ask the panel. I can say that we bought ourselves an Xbox One X today because this is going to be a long haul here. And
actually, what you should have got, you should have gotten the Wii.
You should have gotten what?
The Wii.
I know what you're saying, but the problem, actually, the same motion control things, the Switch utilizes some of that, but nobody really ever got into the motion controlled games. That's the problem.
They like the games, not the controls. And that's...
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate because I think that everything, they became fitness rituals. They became fitness programs. Instead of games, they were just workouts. And, if I want to do a workout, I can do a workout. I don't need to behold some stupid, joystick in my hand. But although there is one exercise with the joystick that it's really good at motion control. No, but what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing to fill in if you're not working at home? What do you find yourself doing more of, Rick?
Well, you can see from behind me, I like to read. I love, just reading all sorts of stuff. So I'm starting to reread some of the books, and I thought I'd start in and maybe try and reread my entire collection of Kurt Vonnegut. Always loved
wow. What's your favorite Kurt Vonnegut novel?
Wow. Probably.
Boy, there's just so many.
There's more there than you think.
Yeah.
I always like Cat's Cradle and Slapstick.
Wow. Okay. Are you a Kilgore Trout fan?
Pardon me?
Are you a Kilgore Trout fan?
No, not really. I tend to follow some of the weird ones. Richard Brautigan and Douglas Adams.
Thompson.
I love Douglas Adams, the only man who wrote a 5-book trilogy. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Those are great books. I may reread those later. So,
Brian, what do you
had?
Mental puzzles on the computer just to keep my mind sharp. What little there is.
Yeah. All right, Brian, what are you doing?
Well, I'm watching more TV shows and stuff that some of them are on YouTube and some of them are on other services, but I like the older stuff and things that I didn't get to see as much when they were first run. So,
and Tony,
and then hanging out, and then of course, bashing libtards on social media.
That we know. Tony, before you started jamming a rectal thermometer into yourself, what have you been doing?
I was before that.
I thought you looked taller.
Before that, I was using. Jesus Christ! I was gonna say before that I was using my finger, but that's not.
Oh.
Not as accurate, is it?
Yeah, this
Not
is
as hygienic. Not as
definition to the term the digital era. Go ahead. God, that's disturbing.
No,
What are you doing, Tony?
I've discovered a lot of new shows on Netflix, and I've actually started DDP yoga.
Oh.
What kind of now? What is that?
Diamond
That's,
Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page, the wrestler.
Okay, yeah.
That's the yoga.
Oh,
That's the yoga
okay.
that Jake the Snake Roberts and
Yeah, he saved Jake the Snake's life.
yeah,
basically.
Scott Hall.
That's right. I remember
Yeah.
hearing about. And you know something, Tony? I wanted to tell you. I did watch the Montreal Screw Job on the dark side of the ring,
Yep.
and so I am recording those. So
Nice.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, you gotta watch the Benoit one. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I think the one I have up next is who is it was the killing of somebody, and I forget.
Bruiser
probably
Brody.
Bruiser Brody, was that it?
Yep.
or Bret Hart's brother.
And they've got one for Owen Hart coming out in like a month and a half.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. Jake, what are you doing?
Oh, speaking of the Switch, mostly this.
Doing what?
The Switch.
Oh, is
Mostly.
that? I don't know what a Switch looks like. Would it fit in Tony's ass?
I'm surprised you've been able to
Probably.
Now this device.
I have a PlayStation and Xbox as well, but I mostly just play the Switch now because it's portable.
Yeah, and you can project it onto a screen as well, correct?
You can just kind of throw it on the dock and then rip it right off, and then it just keeps the game right there without turning it off.
Wow, what's your favorite game?
Right now, I've been playing Witcher 3 again. So about 100 hours in so far since I've been locked in. So.
Wow, serious stuff.
And by the way, you said Xbox. That's the best DVD player there is in the market, and the best Netflix. And it's the greatest place to play Netflix as well. So
yeah, and it is interesting because it's funny because Rox and I were talking about this, and I said, my DVD player, which was the Sony, it's funny because Sony was the proprietary original Blu-ray patent, and a PlayStation doesn't actually have a real, honest to God, Blu-ray player in it anymore.
Right.
The PS4 I thought did.
No, actually, what it is, the PS4, it's technically not, but it is kind of like translated through logarithms, but it's not pure. Actually, the Microsoft, the Xbox DVD player is the best DVD player. So it's like, what the hell? I watched the Xbox One X, which is, they were expecting to release a whole new, both PlayStation and Microsoft, a whole new next gen systems. Whether that's going to happen or not now, you don't know for sure.
Xbox will, I think. PlayStation probably not. Xbox is right on target, they said.
All right, the pandemic screwed me over. I was set to get an Xbox One X, and I kind of hesitated. And the price went from $299 to $399 to $499. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, it came down to $299 bundled with NBA 2K20. And it's like, I can do that, So I went ahead and bit the bullet.
These are $300 and they're being price gouged for like $700. People are buying them.
Yeah,
Now
the Switch is because you can't find them.
Yeah.
But now the question is, can Moo actually win more games as the Cavaliers than the actual Cavaliers?
That's but I know Rox has one thing that she wants to do with the Xbox One X, and what is it, Rox?
Play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. She's going to kick my ass.
Yeah, fatalities all the way.
She is going to kick my. I've never played Mortal Kombat. This is Mortal Kombat 11, which is
it's a really good game.
Yeah.
And if she loses, I'm sure she'll hip check you in the next week.
I mean, she's going to kick the shit out of me, but I'm going to have fun. And I mean, that's the whole thing. I was already practicing my NBA 2K20 moves and my little step over and my Euro step and all of that shit. But it's been so long. I mean, look at these little stubby Jewish hands, these are not made, for, joysticks, the problem with my hands, I mean, jerking off. You know, it's like, oh, forget it. That's it, everybody, for this edition of Moohead Radio. Oh, you know, what does it take 2 hands to
In
handle?
your fucking dream.
Handle the Whopper.
Thank you. Yes.
Has anyone seen that Tiger King?
That's
I've heard of-
fantastic.
I've heard so much about it. I don't.
Yeah,
wanna-
me too.
Carol
popular.
fucking Baskin.
Yeah, she killed her husband. That's a
I've heard so
spoiler.
much about it. I'm just tired of it. I'll
Yeah.
see Burger King before I'll see
I tried it
Tiger
earlier. I
It's
might have. Now it's
fantastic.
just now that it's so popular, I just won't watch it. It's like Game of Thrones. I just kind of avoid the whole thing because I was like, oh, I'm like 5 seasons late, so I'm not going to go back down.
All right, everybody, be safe, be smart. That's it for this edition of Moohead Radio. We'll
Don't
be back
fart.
again on Friday. I mean, that's the way it works. And we'll be
Watch
talking.
The Mandalorian.
And hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have some better news on numbers, you know, that are, you know, and each week we count this down. You know, I'm going to be honest with everybody and tell you how many weeks I think there's left in it. But I think we got a good long ways to go. We just got to be very patient and discover the things that you enjoy doing and do them, and spend more time with your families and do things that maybe, you know, unless they're carriers, in which case, you know, take a walk in the park and bury them.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, pasture heads. Good night.
I